Could a chance game change your life forever? For American Jeffrey Lehman, it's a clear yes. As a young man, he found himself playing ping pong against one of the first visiting Chinese players in the U.S. in the 1970s. He would go on to become the founding vice-chancellor of New York University, Shanghai, the first Sino-U.S. university. I sat down with him. What a pleasure to have you for the very first time on The Point. And I have a quick rundown of your CV. It's so impressive. You came to China as early as 1998 and you settled since 2008, first in Shenzhen, southern China, and then you moved to Beijing and you are the founding chancellor of New York University, Shanghai, all the way till now. That's the first Sino-American joint university, and you have received the highest honor China can give to a foreign national, which is China's Friendship Award. You are an honorary citizen of Shanghai. Congratulations. And you are also named one of the 40 most influential foreign experts during the country's first 40 years of reform and opening up. Congratulations, and you must have done something.
I've been very lucky in my life. I've had a chance to get to know and work with wonderful people for many, many years.
But what exactly have you devoted these past decades, if you're going to give me the central story, central line?
Well, I have been an academic since 1987. That's when I first became a professor. And ever since then, I have really focused my career on this group of people who are between 18 years old and 25 years old. These are young people who are going to college, and they're separating from their parents, and they're learning how to be adults. And I have always loved working with these young minds and these young hearts, helping to prepare them for lives in the world.
There's always a reason for something. When there's an effect, there's always a cause. That's what the Chinese wisdom tells us. Why is it? Is it because of your personal experience?
Well, that's a great question, and in fact, it is because of my personal experience. When I went to college myself, I had grown up in the United States. I went to high school in Maryland. And I had never had a passport. I never went outside the United States. And when I was in college, I had been studying French language. And I had this moment when I heard people speaking French and realized I couldn't understand a word they were saying. And I decided I would go and spend a year studying in France. And so I spent my junior year in Paris with this program that was run by Sweetbriar College, and it changed everything.
Well, why didn't you go to France? Why did you come to China in the end?
Well, I actually ended up later in this intermediate phase of my career when I was a law professor. I did go and teach in France. I taught at the French universities. I taught about American law in French to French students.
Wow, your French must be really good.
Yes, I wish my Chinese were that good. But I had that opportunity. And the reason I loved it so much is because I saw myself that when I lived outside the United States, I developed what I called a transatlantic soul. I ended up feeling more American than ever. I had a new perspective on the United States, but I also felt a part of me was a little bit French. And I felt comfortable crossing borders because I saw that people from different cultures share the same values. They all want love, they all want respect, but they do it differently, and they do it in different ways. And the world started to look more exciting that way. And I felt, boy, you know, when I get the chance, I'd love to have a career where I work with people in that group.
But why China then? What brought? Where did the China connection start?
That came much later. That was random. I was the dean of the University of Michigan Law School in the 1990s.
What was your first tangible idea about how Chinese people are like? You know, what China was like, and
Well, my first tangible idea actually was when I was in high school. I was...
Maybe that planted the seed.
You know, I think it probably did. I played ping pong. Ping pong was my sport. I loved ping pong, and when I was in high school, so this'll date me. It was the early 1970s, and so ping pong diplomacy happened. So in 1972, as a return visit, some of the top Chinese table tennis players came to the United States, and in April they had a tour, and they played an exhibition at the University of Maryland, which wasn't very far from where I lived, and my father got tickets, and so he and I went, and we watched these amazing players perform, and it was thrilling. And then the next day I went back to high school. I told all my friends, oh, you never believe what I did last night. And I was sitting in class, and a friend ran over to me and said, Jeff, you're not going to believe this. One of those players who you saw last night is next to our high school at the shopping mall. And they've set up a table, and she's ready to play anybody. You should go.
Really?
So I ran next door. I ran out of class. The teacher didn't like it, but that's okay. and there she was. And so I had the opportunity to play some points against her, and she hit the ball harder than anybody ever had. But it made a deep impression on me, as did the pandas, Xing Xing and Ling Ling, who came to the National Zoo that same year. And so I used to go ride my bike down to the National Zoo and see them. So those were my first bits of contact with Chinese culture.
Fast forward 40 years. Yeah, now we're looking at a very different world. I don't want to talk about the general, geopolitical politics and stuff. Just the way how everybody lives is different. With everybody with a phone and their eyes, fixated on it. Young people in particular, the 18 to 25-year-old American young people. What are they like at this moment? And can you relate to them with your stories?
I love Generation Z, actually. It's very interesting. They are the generation that grew up with technology in a different way. They grew up online, and they are our students now, as you say, really have had mobile phones, smartphones, throughout their youth. And so it is a different kind of sets of experiences in how they process information, how they get information. And it's wonderful, actually, to engage with them. I teach a course at NYU Shanghai on the topic of creativity. And it's wonderful to get their perspectives on what it is when they've had moments where they've had a new idea, an original thought that might be useful.
Can you understand these ideas coming from your generation? I mean,
I do my best. I do my best. One of the good things about being a university professor is it does keep you young. You have an incentive to try to keep up with what they're doing. Now, I don't use TikTok. I don't use social media.
Yeah. You don't?
I don't. I've never used social media. Well, I used Facebook in 2004.
Okay.
And I used Twitter in 2007.
How do you talk to them?
Well,
it works?
It still works. It still works. I know a lot about social media, but I don't actually use it because I am concerned about what's known as the attention economy. I know that these products are designed to hold our attention and not let us look away. And I'm very protective of my energy and my attention, and so I try to control it myself.
Well, looking at you now, I think your strategy probably is a good one.
Well, everybody has to make their own choices about these things.
But the thing is, everybody is talking about the future in their hands, and their choices, how they are, what they study, their outlook on the world is critical going forward. Between China and the United States, how do you gauge the level of interest, the level of understanding, both ways? Are you worried? Are you optimistic?
I'm worried and I'm optimistic at the same time. And I should say, at NYU Shanghai, we have a self-selected group of students. Half of our students are from China, half are from the rest of the world. A little more than a quarter of them are Americans. They have chosen to come to a school that is diverse, that is international, that is multicultural. They've chosen to come to a school where they will have a roommate from a different country. And so they want to be immersed in this way. They are intensely curious about the world that they did not grow up in. And that's makes them special for their generation. And it does make me optimistic because I see how they try to translate their curiosity into possibilities for improvement. And of course, this generation, whatever country they're from, they're very, very aware of the dangers of climate change. They're very aware of the risks of sea level rise. And they're eager to think about how to construct solutions. And they know that they're going to need to do it in partnership with their contemporaries from all over the world. So that's inspiring to me.
Yeah, with people like you, with people like me, I hope we can make the future slightly not as bad as it could be. Let's put it this way.
Yes, I hope so. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Jeffrey Lehman, founding Vice-Chancellor of New York University, Shanghai, the first Sino-American joint university.
Thank you.